evening. Wife's upstairs putting the kids to bed. I thought, what am I going to do? I'll tell you what, let's pop on here. I haven't done a video yet today because it was my son's birthday. Hold on, have a look. That's the state of my house at the moment. It's covered in birthday stuff because it was my son's birthday this weekend. So I haven't had time to pop on and do a video looking ahead to the West Ham game. But as my wife is upstairs at the moment putting the kids to bed, I thought I'd pop on right now and just have a little bit of a discussion, see if any of you are around. And if you are, feel free, come to ask me any questions. And I thought I'd turn this into a little bit of a sort of Q&A type thing while also looking ahead to the West Ham game. Evening, everyone. Benoit there. Appreciate you popping in on this Saturday evening. Happy birthday, Mini Charles Watts, says John C. Thank you very much. Got an Arsenal kit. I'm sure you'll appreciate that from his granddad. Dropped an Arsenal kit over today, so he's just been running around in that this evening, which he very much likes. Right, let me quickly pop on. I know plenty of you are going to be asking questions. I can see it right now, but I'm going to go through a little bit of news first. Ahead of the West Ham game, and then I'll come back and answer some of your questions. So please, I'm not ignoring you at the moment. I will come back and pop through some of these as well. But let's rattle through some of the news today. Let's talk about injury news ahead of tomorrow night's game. Big news for Arsenal. Good news for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka is fit and ready to play. He's been training and he will be involved tomorrow, you would think. I think he'll probably start, to be honest, but he's been training and he is fit, so that is very good news. Arsenal announcing that today, and also that Willian is back training as well. I think he'll probably be involved. I'm not sure he'll start, but he'll be involved tomorrow, although Arsenal are saying he's been assessed ahead of that game, but he's been training for a couple of days now, Willian, so I'd expect him to be involved at West Ham as well. So good news for Arsenal. Those were the two real injury doubts, with Saka and Willian, and they're both fit, so that's good news for Arsenal. I'm just sort of looking ahead at what Mikel might do tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, we've got the international break after this, so it's a case of what do you do? Do you go all out in this one? Or do you potentially try and rest some of the players who might be going off around the world? We all know the Europa League now is Arsenal's priority, although they're not going to throw the Premier League, anything like that. But it'll be interesting. I think he's got some big decisions to make, Mikel Arteta. What do you do at centre-back? Do you go with Mari and Holding, perhaps, who haven't played for a while? We know that partnership is a partnership that works well. Or do you stick with Gabriel and David Luiz? Do you play Bellerin at right back, or do you bring Cedric back in? And then in midfield, do you start Partey, try and get 90 minutes under his belt? The good news is that Partey's not going away with Ghana. They haven't called him up. Because of all the COVID issues and stuff like that. He'd only been able to play one game for them anyway, so they haven't called him up. So that's good news. So do you start Partey? I think you probably do. And then what do you do up front? Do you play Aubameyang? Obviously had that really difficult night on Thursday night. Or do you bring Lacazette back in, who scored against Spurs and played well against Spurs? There's quite a lot of decisions for Mikel Arteta to make. It's going to be an intriguing starting 11 that he chooses tomorrow. Right, I'm going to rattle through this because I can see already so much conversation in the chat, so I'm going to pop in and answer some of your questions. So I'm going to give my predicted 11 before I do that, and remember, this is just my predicted 11. It's not based on any information that I know or anything like that. This is what I think Mikel might go for tomorrow. I'm going to go with Bernd Leno in goal. I'm going to go with a back four of Cedric, Mari, Holding and Tierney, Xhaka and Partey as a central midfield, Saka on the right, Odegaard at number 10, Smith Rowe on the left, and Aubameyang up front. So that's my predicted 11. Leno, Cedric, Holding, Mari, Tierney, Xhaka, Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Aubameyang. So there you go. There's my predicted 11, and I'm going to put on now and answer some of your questions. I've seen a load of you mentioning Balogun. I'm like I said, it's my son's birthday today. So I haven't seen. I'm just checking. Have I missed something on Balogun? Has there been an update or something? Or are you just wanting? Is there anything new? Is it someone put out a story or something like that? Because I've been so off the radar today. So I haven't seen anything. But anyway, let's go. I'm going to go all the way back here, scrolling down, and let's see some of your questions, shall we? Oh my God, there's loads. Lots of you saying happy birthday to my son. Thank you very much for that. Any update on Balogun? Right, I haven't heard anything. So unless I'm missing something and if something new has happened today, I haven't heard anything new on Balogun. No, I haven't. As far as I'm aware, nothing new on Balogun. I have to say, last I heard, talks are still going on. As I've said on previous videos, I still think Arsenal are probably going to end up losing him, but the Eddie and Nketiah situation might come into it because Balogun has got the same agent as Eddie, and Arsenal might be in conversations with the agent saying, look, Eddie's going to go in the summer, you know that, so why don't you Balogun sign a new deal, and he's going to get a lot more chances next season. So I haven't got any fresh update on Balogun, I'm afraid, no. Lots of you saying happy birthday to my son. Thank you very much. How do you think Martinelli will do as a centre forward, says Kadeem? I think he'll do very well as a centre forward. I think he's got all the attributes to be an absolute great. I do think we've got to calm down a bit with Martinelli and his lack of game time. I think it's going to happen. You know, he's not going to be cut adrift at Arsenal. They're giving him a new long-term contract. That was under Mikel. They rate him. They like him. I think Mikel's certainly doing a lot of work with him behind the scenes. And he will start getting his chances. It's not. I don't think we should be worried too yet about his lack of action or anything like that. I think the start he had last season was obviously so good that maybe our expectations went a little bit too high. You've got to remember he's still very, very young. Arsenal are obviously working pretty hard with him, and I think he'll come good and start playing a lot of football from next season. But yeah, I think centre forward, he's got all the attributes to be an absolute star. Brilliant movement, work ethic's fantastic, great in the air, good finisher. I think he'll be great. Fundalima, good evening, Charles, and happy birthday to your son from Kenya. Thank you very much. I hope everything is well over in Kenya for you. Bo says Saka fit. Great, yeah, really good news for Saka, sorry, not Xhaka, that he's fit, and good news for Arsenal. Priority buys for the summer, says Phil. And what should we expect progression-wise from what we've learned this year? I think we should expect an awful lot progression-wise from what we learned this year. I think Arsenal, if they don't progress next season, then Mikel's going to be in trouble. And I'm a big fan of Mikel. I think he's doing a good job, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do next season. But if Arsenal don't progress next season, then that is a worry. So I'd hope to see a decent progression from him. I think they'll be certainly better going forward. I think he'll get more players in that he likes and he knows. So I'm expecting good things from Arsenal next season. In terms of ideal buys, I think you've got to look at getting a new striker. I think that is key. And I think Arsenal will get a new striker. And I think you've probably got to look at certainly backup as a left back for a left back. I think a right back as well. I think a new right back. I think they're the key areas there. Maybe get a new partner for Thomas Partey as well. Although I know a lot of you don't like Granit Xhaka, but I think Granit Xhaka has been very good. Sakaya, can Maidenhead get to League Two? I don't think so. I think that'd be a bit of an ask for the mighty Magpies. For those of you who don't know, I do live in Maidenhead and used to cover them before I started becoming an Arsenal reporter. So got a very big soft spot for Maidenhead United, who are currently in the National League and doing very well as well. JB says, evening, Charles, huge fan of the channel. Crazy to see how much the channel has grown over the last 12 months. Yes, but big thanks to all of you for helping this channel grow, approaching 50,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable. And I appreciate all the support as always. And it's been a good, fun year getting to grips with all this. And I'm glad a lot of you are enjoying it. Stuart says, are you happy with the Europa League draw and the semi-final draw? Yeah, I don't think we can complain, can we? It's a very good draw for Arsenal. It's not going to be easy by any means. I think Villarreal is going to be really tough. We know how good Unai Emery is in this competition. I think Villarreal are a decent team. They've had some really good results so far in the Europa League, and they're not going to be easy if you get them in the semi-final. And to be honest, I don't think Prague are going to be easy either. They've beaten Leicester, beaten Rangers, knocked Celtic out. They're a good team. Recently, they've had some good performances at Barcelona last season. I think it was, should have won at the Nou Camp. So they're no pushovers by any means. And you take them, you don't take them seriously enough, Arsenal are going to go out. So I think it's a good draw, but you can't take anything for granted at all. Block HD, does Aubameyang's attitude worry you? It doesn't, to be honest. No, I'm not worried about Aubameyang's attitude. Aubameyang's Aubameyang. He's, you just got to live with it. Occasionally he'll be late and stuff like that. He's done it at Dortmund. He's done it here. It's not ideal, but it is what it is, and he's a quality striker, and he's been absolutely brilliant since he's come to Arsenal. So as long as he doesn't start becoming a real issue, then no, it doesn't worry me at all. Cheekster, do you think Mikel should have started Lacazette ahead of Aubameyang on Thursday night? No, I don't. I think it was quite a wise move. Put Aubameyang straight back in, kill the story, if you see what I mean. It's just a shame Aubameyang didn't take any of those chances, because if he'd have taken those chances, no one would have been talking about it. But about him still. It's just a shame he had one of those nights. Asfi says, what is happening with Guendouzi? Not much at the moment. He's not doing too well over in Germany. Not too popular over there by all accounts. And I think he'll be coming back to Arsenal in the summer, and Arsenal will be looking to sell him. So that's what's happening with Guendouzi. Interesting on this from James Sargent. Do you think David Luiz deserves a contract extension? Really interesting one, David Luiz. I think he's such a good figure behind the scenes. Everyone likes him. I think he's playing really, really well. I think Arsenal 4 centre-backs are playing really well. This is weird because Arsenal have kept a clean sheet in 11 games, but I don't actually think much of that is centre-backs' fault. I think there's been some really big individual errors, not really to do with the centre-backs. And I think when you look at them, I think Mari and Holding have been fantastic when they've played this season. Really like Pablo Mari. I like David Luiz. Gabriel's getting back to his best. It's just a tough one. It depends what's happening with William Saliba. For me, I think Arsenal got to make a decision there on Saliba. But I wouldn't be against David Luiz getting another contract for a year. But it depends. I think Luiz are probably going to get 2-year contract offers from elsewhere. So would he want to stay for another year? I wouldn't give him 2 years. No way. Maybe 1. And I wouldn't be against it because I think he's still a good defender. He's still got a lot to offer and he's brilliant behind the scenes. So I wouldn't be against it. Let's put it that way. The Chief. Hi, Charles. What 3 positions do you think we need to strengthen the most? And also, what is Arsenal's rough transfer budget? I can't tell you a rough transfer budget, I'm afraid. I just don't know. It won't. We just won't know until they where they finish the season, what competition they're going to be in. It's really tough to say. And also, will they move money around? I mean, the finances are such a mess at the moment. It's just impossible, really, to give a budget. In terms of the 3 positions, I think they need to strengthen. I think they need to get themselves a new striker. If they can keep Odegaard, then I don't think they need to get themselves a new creative player because I think him and Smith Rowe can comfortably do that and rotate next season. I think they need to get a new right back. I think that just needs freshening up that area. I think they certainly need to get cover for Kieran Tierney at left back. So those are probably the areas that I think they need to focus on the most in the summer. Ali says, do you see Chambers staying long term at Arsenal? I don't. I have to say I'm not sure about Callum Chambers. I think the injuries came at a bad time for him. He was Mikel Arteta was liking Callum Chambers at the time of the injury, but I think people have got in front of him now. I think he might need to move on to get himself playing regularly. Says, is Saliba going to stay? It's $1 million question. I can't answer it, I'm afraid, at the moment. Arsenal were telling us constantly, all of us journalists, when they sent him out on loan, the briefing we were getting from everyone at Arsenal was, look, he is very much part of our future still. This isn't a signing. This isn't a loan deal with an option to buy. He's still part of our future. That's what we've been told. So that's all I can say at the moment. So from everyone that I've spoken to at Arsenal, they tell me that Saliba is going nowhere and he's part of the future. So we'll see. Chris, that was an interesting one. I just flashed fast. Let me get back to that one and make sure I got it right. Chris Lord, rating for Edu out of 10 so far. Really interesting one as well. I've been sceptical about Edu, I have to say, and the job he's been doing. I don't agree with what he did with the scouting department. I don't understand that at all levels. I don't know how you can get rid of such experienced scouting network and just rely basically on word of mouth, on agents and on data purely by a team all based in London Colney. You need players in and around, and you need scouts in and around Europe and the world. So I'm a bit weird. I don't know about Edu by that, but I do think he did a really good job in the January transfer window and was ruthless when he needed to be and got players out when he needed to be. So I'm still, it sounds like I'm sitting in the fence a little bit about Edu, but I'm yet to really make my decision on what sort of job he's doing and how well he is doing it. I think he's done some good things and I think he's done some bad things. He didn't sign Gabby. Whoever said that, to this day, he signed Gabby, Charles. I'm not sure which Gabby you mean, if you're talking about Martinelli or Gabriel, the defender. Edu, he may have got the deal done for him in the end, but that deal was both of those deals. Well, Martinelli was nothing to do with Edu, basically. That was all done and dusted by Francis Cagial and Steve Morrow, that basically set that up, and that deal got done. In terms of Gabriel, again, that's Francis Cagial had that deal pretty much done for about 2 or 3 years, so it wasn't anything to do with Edu. Edu sort of arrived and got it finalised and over the line, but the deal had been put in place long before Edu arrived. Both deals had. Kadeem, shout out to the Trinidad WhatsApp Gunners. There you go. I hope all is well over in Trinidad and the West Indies. Place very close to my heart because my mum was from St Vincent, and so I am actually technically half West Indian, believe that or not. I am. My mum came over from St Vincent and the Grenadines when she was about 19 to work as a nurse, and that's where she met my dad, who was born in Arsenal, or in Holloway. So I got mother from St Vincent in the Caribbean and a dad from Holloway in North London. Siad, is this the worst Arsenal team you've ever seen? No, I saw the end of George Graham. I was there a season ticket holder during the end of the George Graham era, and that was far, far worse in this Arsenal team. Future of Willock and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think the future of that is both of those players are not at Arsenal, unfortunately. I think you're probably looking to move both of those on. Maybe Willock might get another chance, but I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles, wouldn't be at all surprised to see him go in the summer. Philip Butt, my wife is from St Vincent. Excellent. I've never actually been there. When I got married, I went to our honeymoon was in St Lucia, and I really wanted to get over St Vincent, but I never got around to it. Just didn't get time. But yeah, it's oh, there you go, St Lucian Gunners. There you go. That's where I came for my honeymoon, Jago. So I hope all is well. Thank you. I had a wonderful time on your island for a couple of weeks. Do you think the club will spend big, like a Pepe, if Arsenal get into the Champions League? I think if they get in the Champions League, they'll have a chance of spending bigger. But I think you've got to take into account the pandemic, the finances. It all depends on what Stan Kroenke does this summer, I think, for Arsenal. Yeah, Beckway. Go to Beckway, beautiful islands. I know my mum used to have a little holiday house over there. Completely different now to when she was over there. Apparently, it's obviously like rich people everywhere, and it wasn't really the case when my mum was growing up. She used to swim to Beckway from St Vincent. Very good swimmer was my mum. Will Laka be sold? Pressed. I think you've got. For me, I think you sell Lacazette this summer if you can. I don't think you give Laka a new contract. I really like Laka, but I don't think you give him a new contract. I think if you can, you sell him and you freshen up that striking department. I think Arsenal really need to bring someone else in this summer. Just freshen that area up for me. Put a little bit more pressure on Aubameyang as well. So no, if I think ideally, if Arsenal can get a decent amount of money and a decent offer in for Lacazette, I think it'd probably be best for all parties. If he goes, right, I got to ask this. In the final days of George Graham, we won several trophies and had a great defence and attack. Arsenal did not have a great a great attack in the final days of George Graham. I'm afraid they had Ian Wright, and that was it. And they signed John Hartson, obviously. They had Chris Kawamya. They had Merson, who was far from his best those days. And you go back to that final season when Arsenal lost to Real Zaragoza in the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. It was a horrendous season. I was a season ticket holder. I was there every game at home when they were drawing 0-0 week in, week out, or losing 1-0. They went about 4 months without winning at Highbury. And they did not have a fantastic attack at all in the final days of George Graham. It was an awful final season. Yeah, so many coming through. Laka value 25 million. Someone said there, Orsic to Arsenal. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? After that hat trick against Dinamo Zagreb, that was fantastic. I don't think Arsenal signed. Sorry, I missed whoever asked that question. Let me pop back to see who it was. Sean, will Arsenal buy Danny C? I don't think so. Would you? I mean, do you think you'd sign Danny C? I don't think you would. A Bergkamp Wonderland Arsenal podcast. Good to see you guys on here. That 94-95 is the worst I've seen. Yeah, I agree with you. It was awful. Obviously, we had the run to the Cup Winners' Cup final and the fantastic wins against Sampdoria, especially on the way out. Brilliant night at Highbury, the 3-2. But in the league, it was dreadful. Yeah, I remember when they finally broke the non-winning streak when Chris Kawamya scored the winner against Nottingham Forest. It was about March, I think. We'd gone about 4 months without winning. It was awful. Glenn Helder came in. Yeah, dark times those were, just before Bruce Rioch came in. People asking about Basuma. I'm not sure about Basuma. I think he's going to cost a lot of money for me. I'm not sure. I think Arsenal could possibly look for a player like him. Sander Berge is an interesting one. I haven't heard it myself that Arsenal are interested in him, but people up in the Sheffield area certainly believe that Arsenal are interested in him. So that's an interesting one to keep an eye on. No updates on Arwa Kangaroo. I think, as far as I'm aware, that Arwa, that's going to be a really difficult one to do this summer. You look at the season Leon are having, you think how much money it's going to cost. I think Arsenal's best chance of signing Arwa was last season. Avneet says, do you think we can win the Europa League? Absolutely. Come on, I think, beat Slavia Prague and then you're into the final against, Zagreb or Villarreal. And I'm not taking anything for granted. I mean, this is Arsenal. We can lose to anyone. But there's every chance Arsenal can reach the final, and then it's a one-off game. Even if it's Man United, Arteta's come up against United 3 times, hasn't lost yet, hasn't conceded a goal. So absolutely, Arsenal can win the Europa League. They've got to play well, but they can win it 100%. Do you think Arsenal will sign Odegaard? I think Arsenal's best chance of signing Odegaard this summer is going to be in a similar one to Danny Ceballos, and it'll be a season-long loan for next season. I think in terms of signing permanently, it's going to be really difficult. Just because A, the money they're going to spend, and B, as far as I'm aware, Real Madrid aren't that keen on selling Odegaard. A lot of it depends on if Zidane's going to be the manager still. We know Zidane doesn't really fancy him, so if Zidane stays, then maybe if Arsenal got a better chance. But if he goes, then I think it's going to be difficult to sign him. But you never know. It depends. Again, like I said, we have to see if Stan Kroenke's going to reach into those pockets of his and pull out some money and let Arteta do what he wants to do in the transfer market. Let me just scroll up. I wanted to see someone said something about. What's that? Mr. Allen 94. Martin Keown was our best central midfielder. Says everything. Are you talking about the 94-95 season? No, I think you probably are. Yeah, that wasn't a fun season. I think there was the worst game I've ever seen was that season. Actually, the 2 worst games I've ever seen and sat through. Arsenal, I think we drew 0-0 with Wimbledon. It was the worst game ever. And we beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. Wrighty scored a last-minute winner in front of the North Bank. And it was the most horrendous match ever. Obviously, it was good because Arsenal got a last-minute winner. It's always nice to go home. But I just remember Des Walker had Wrighty in his pocket for 90 minutes, and it was just the worst match. It was only about 25,000 at Highbury. It's a dreadful season, really dreadful season. Yeah, that the Bergkamp Wonderland. Sorry, I'm reminiscing about 94-95 now. Fell asleep at that Arsenal 0 Wimbledon 0 was pouring down rain. Yeah, such a bad game. I always remember it's in my head as the worst match I've ever seen. People asking about Hakimi. I'm not sure. I don't think Arsenal are going to be able to afford Hakimi this summer. I'm not sure Inter Milan are going to get rid of Hakimi either. I think he's done all right since he's gone there. Best game of Arteta's managerial career so far. Managerial career. It's got to be the FA Cup final, isn't it, Adam? It has to be the FA Cup final, surely. Although the semi-final was great against Man City as well. People asking about a new contract for Elneny. I don't think so. I don't think you give Elneny a new contract. I think you look to sell Elneny this summer and improve in that position. Who was that asking about Danny Ceballos? Prassid, will Danny Ceballos stay? I feel we should get him under 20 million. Arsenal should keep him. I don't know. I like Danny, but I'm not sure. I think you can get better than him for that sort of money it would cost to get him out of Real Madrid. Interesting one here from Shay Race. Sorry if I got that terribly wrong. Schreiers. How much money do you think we can raise from Reece, Willock, etc.? Quite a lot of money. You think Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I think you can probably get about 20 million for. I think Reece Nelson on a good day this summer you can get 15 million for. I think Joe Willock you could get 20 million for. There's lots of money there. Guendouzi as well. You can sell. So if Arsenal, it's all about selling well. Arsenal have got to do what Liverpool do and be ruthless in the transfer market. When teams come in for your players, sell well. Don't take less than they're worth. So I think Arsenal can raise some good money. You're looking at 100 odd million for me. There 40 million for Guendouzi. Not going to happen. Not now. A year left in his contract. Just not going to happen. Especially given the season he's had. Owen says, do you think Saka will be fit for West Ham? He is. He's been past fit. He's training and he's going to be fit. If Arsenal had 50 million, who should we buy, says Rodrigo. God, some of you answer this as well. Pop down in your comments. £50 million, who should Arsenal buy for £50 million in the summer? Oh, I don't know. It's tough. I'm trying to think what's... Maybe Odegaard. I really like Odegaard. I think he's been great. They need to sign a striker, though, a really decent striker for 50 million. Who could you get? See, I do like Edouard. I think Edouard's going to be really good, and I've spoken to people who really rate Odegaard Edouard. I think he might end up being a really special player. I think he's going to go to Leicester, though, unfortunately. See, Odegaard, I would certainly buy if I had 50 million, no doubt. I think he's going to turn, he's still so young. He's a top player for me. I wonder about some of the strikers from the low leagues, even Tony. I really like what I've seen from him. Ollie Watkins, I think Watkins is great, and I think he's kind of shown again one of those players you can snap up from the lower leagues. I really like Ollie Watkins as well, but no, I think it costs more than £50 million now. Haaland, David Roger, I think he's going to cost more than 50 million, I'm afraid. Someone asking if I've heard rumours about Bergkamp. No, I haven't heard rumours about Bergkamp coming back as a coach. Someone there mentioned Grealish. You're not getting Grealish for £50 million. You're joking. You're gonna have to cost about £100 million for Jack Grealish. I'd have him in a heartbeat, though. I love Jack Grealish. Thoughts on Malin? Good player. Shame Arsenal lost him. I was speaking to Steve Morrow, actually. He's left now, obviously, but he signed Daniel Malin, and he was devastated he's left. Santi Cazorla coming back as coach. I would love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, Mikel certainly hasn't shot that down when we've asked him about it. It'd be great if Santi came back here. He loves it at Arsenal. Such a shame what happened to Santi. I'm convinced Arsenal would have won the title had Santi stayed fit, not just on one season, but the 2 seasons he got injured. I'd love him to come back. Yes, Arsenal did sell Emi on the cheap, but someone asking Emi Martinez, they did sell him on the cheap, but it's kind of in hindsight, really. I think at the time, after one good season, they got a decent enough deal for him. But I think when you look at it now, it's clear how good a goalkeeper he is. Well, it was clear back then how good a goalkeeper he was. So yeah, I think 20 million is going to prove to be very cheap for Emi Martinez. No rumours on Kessie from Milan. I think Emi's worth about £50 million now. Do you think £40 million, £50 million for Emi Martinez? Someone keeps shouting. Who's that? It's shouting at me. If you don't apologise, what are you talking about? Ahmet Arslan. What? Sorry, I must have missed a question or something. What are you asking me? Apologise to Guendouzi. Me? Why am I apologising to Guendouzi for? Why should I apologise to Guendouzi? Why do I need to apologise? Ahmet, tell me, and then I'll think about it. Oh, I'm calling him bad. No, I'm not calling him bad. He's a good player. Unfortunately, he's got a year left in his contract, so that's why Arsenal aren't going to get much money for him. Wow, Ahmet, you are one. You're not in a very good mood today, are you? Who's that? Favourite AFC player? When? Now or forever? Forever, Dennis Bergkamp, 100%. Although, I loved Henry, loved Wrighty. Wrighty was my idol growing up as a kid. But Dennis Bergkamp's my favourite Arsenal player of all time. Favourite Arsenal player of recent years, Santi Cazorla by a mile. Favourite Arsenal player now, I don't know, which says a lot about the Arsenal team for the last couple of years. Probably Bukayo Saka, just because he's come through and I love him. People asking about Lamptey. He's certainly a player Arsenal are interested in. Whether Arsenal could sign him, I don't know. I think when you look at Lamptey, I think he's going to cost you more than you'd get if you sell Bellerin. So that's going to be a little bit difficult for Arsenal, I think. But he's certainly the sort of player that Arsenal might like. He's been injured, or he's injured at the moment, which I don't know if that will help in terms of his price. But I don't know. I'm not sure Arsenal will be able to get Lamptey. He's just signed a brand new contract at Brighton. They're in a very strong position. Would I sell Tierney for 80 million? No, no way. Why would you possibly sell Tierney? Neto, someone popping in with Neto there. Love Neto. Think he's going to be a special player. I think he will move this summer as well. But I'm not sure he's not going to come to Arsenal. I think he might head out abroad. Cavani, something or other. They're asking about Bellerin, who skinned Bayern and passed for Ozil for the second goal against Bayern. He's lost his pace. He has lost his pace a bit, but that's what a cruciate knee ligament's going to do to you. Thoughts on Haaland? Absolute animal. What a player. What a player. If only. Mbappe or Haaland? Oh, that's so hard. I think Mbappe's just a get you out your seat, stunning player. I think Haaland's just a machine, a monster with that drive you can see in his head. They're just two wonderful players. I'm not sure I can choose between them. Probably Mbappe, but I don't know. They're both brilliant. He's just asking about Nketiah. What do you think about Nketiah? Will he be loaned or will he get to play? I don't think he'll be loaned. I think he'll be sold. He's only got a year left in his contract, so unless he signs a new deal, he's not going to be loaned. Carlos Vela was so underrated, says Mubarak. He was very enjoyable to watch at times, Carlos Vela. Fantastic goal reel. I think you'd probably get about 15 million for Nketiah now, just because of a year left on his contract. Personally, for me, and I've said this before, and I know I get a lot of grief for it, I would give Eddie a new contract. I don't think he'll sign it. I'm not sure he'd sign it, but I'd give Eddie a new contract and send him out on loan and then sell him the following year, because I think right now his value is going to be right down the bottom. But if you get him a new long-term contract, send him out on loan, even to the Championship, he has a really good year next season, you're suddenly talking about a £30 million player again. So ideally, that's what I'd do, but I don't think it will, because I'm not sure he'd sign a new contract now. Someone asking about Joel Lopez, obviously very good left back, coming through from Barcelona in a fair while. He's been here a long time now. Arsenal do like him, they rate him. I think he needs to toughen up a little bit. He needs to be a bit more physical to see if he's going to make it in the Premier League. I'm not sure. Eddie's under-21 stats are amazing, will help us get more money. They will, but again, you're still looking at a player who's not been playing for the last half a season and has got a year left on his contract. So suddenly his value is a lot less than it should have been. Hopefully, there'll be a few clubs in for Eddie this summer. I don't think we'll sell. I'm not sure who just said that flash pass. I don't think Arsenal will sell Aubameyang this summer. I'd be very, very surprised. Ahmet's still going on about Guendouzi. I think you're just on a mission for a troll at the moment, Ahmet. Thoughts on Andre Silva? I'm not sure. He's just been linked to Arsenal. It seems like Andre Silva's been linked to Arsenal every year for God knows how long. I'm not sure Arsenal are going to go for Andre Silva. Turn your caps lock off, Ahmet. Sam Greenwood's not at Arsenal anymore, whoever's asking that. He's at Leeds. Great goal by Miguel Aziz today. Yeah, I hope if you haven't seen Aziz's goal today, please do head over and look at him. Arsenal got some really good youngsters coming through underneath this batch that we've got at the moment. Aziz, Charlie Patino, it's absolute. Everyone I've spoken to about Charlie Patino is so excited about him. Aziz is great. Amari Hutchinson looks a real talent. There's plenty of good Arsenal youngsters coming through, which we should be excited about over the next few years. People asking about Slavia Prague going to get disqualified. They're not going to get disqualified for what's gone on. This is UEFA. Doesn't matter what's gone on. UEFA aren't going to disqualify a team as much as they should, because it's clear the disgrace of what's happened with Slavia Prague. Interesting as well that that's against, obviously it's Glenn Kamara who that's all happened to, ex-Arsenal up at Rangers. Glenn Kamara's still got lots of friends at Arsenal. I've seen Emil Smith Rowe tweeting about it today. You think that all those players at Arsenal who are good mates with Glenn Kamara are going to have an extra bit of motivation behind them when they take on Slavia Prague. Someone asking how I got my job. A lot of hard work. About 20 years I've been a journalist now. Started as a young junior news reporter. Sat through countless parish council meetings, watching people argue about how a fence has been erected 2 inches further away than it should have been. Stuff like that. Went on for ages. Did about 5 years on that. Passed my journalism exams. Moved into sports. Started covering Reading for ages. Covered Maidenhead, my local team. And then eventually got a job covering Arsenal after being at Reading. So there you go. That's how I got my job. A lot of hard work. Right, everyone, I've been doing this for 35 minutes now. I'm going to head off because I think my wife's going to come downstairs soon. I think the kids are going to be in bed, so I'm going to pour myself a lovely Mount Gay rum and ginger. That's a little nod to my West Indian roots, and I will speak to you all tomorrow. I'm not actually at West Ham. They haven't let me in. West Ham haven't let us in. Didn't get accreditation. It's only the second time since behind closed doors in the limited spaces of the press box that I've not got into a game, which is frustrating, but I will be covering it. I'll be covering it from home, and I'll still try and do my usual stuff as well. So look, everyone, wherever you're watching this around the world, thank you very much for joining in. Appreciate it as always, and yeah, enjoy your evening, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. Speak to you soon.